we would not have this data. It came out of Federal News Network first. And this reporter, keep in mind, he was one of the main Federal News Network reporters during the previous administration. And so the Secretary Mcdana under Biden would have these press conferences, which I really enjoyed, by the way. I wanted them to keep doing that. And he would invite all like Federal News Network, Washington Post, all these people, and they would ask him questions. And I've seen almost every single live press conference that Secretary McDonough did. And I can tell you this dude from Federal News Network, whenever there was something to be praised, he praised it. When there was something to be bashed, he would bash it. And so I felt like he's a genuine reporter. And then we have him coming out with this data that he got somehow from the VA on who was actually going to be fired. And it was frontline VHA workers. And what I want to be clear is there were no interior designers being fired. The reason I bring that up is because that's like the VA so I do like them. And even after all this just poop, I'll call it poop, I still think he's a good VA secretary, given the situation. Okay. So I still think that. But even after all this happening, I've totally lost my train of thought.
All of your press conferences, and then
yeah.
Okay.
So the reason why that matters about the interior designers is because another thing I don't like about him, he's very quippy, right? Like he's a chaplain. He has this like pastoral preacher, Southern twang kind of style, which I'm from Kentucky. I'm a youth pastor myself. I like that. Okay. I don't like it in the position of a VA secretary, though. Like that's the issue, where we're talking about real people, real jobs affecting real veterans on VHA frontline workers during the Senate. And he's talking about interior designers, and he's using the phrases like, that's a whopper. You know, we have 80,000 interior designers. And it's like, okay, I understand you're using that as like a catchphrase quip. But when the data shows it's not interior designers and there are no whoppers, and it actually is VHA personnel who are managing veterans, right? I'm not talking about some VHA personnel in the back doing whatever else. I'm talking about frontline medical workers. When the data comes out that it is that, the VA secretary is silent. We have not seen him combat any of that. Instead, he's pushing the good news. He's pushing the VA just pushed out. They did 2.5 million claims. That's why. That's
bigger, better, badder, faster than ever. Right.
Yeah, I'm not hating on that. Like, cool, push that out. But I am noticing
it's a familiar strategy
from this last almost 8 months, right? He is so quick to combat people who are speaking out against him whenever he is in the right.
Right.
Ooh, but when it's the other way around, dead silent. And I understand that from like a public affairs perspective. If he did comment on it, it would bring it to light that he did lie even more. I get it.
Right.
But I'm watching. Right. Yeah. I am up this dude's butt 24/7. It's kind of exhausting, actually. And that is something I noticed. Like the two things I don't like about him are his inability for confrontation whenever it's against him, and then obviously I would argue when it comes to workers, it is Trump first, veterans second. I do think he's veterans first, VA second. I do think that. I think the tier goes admin, veteran, VA, and that's a hill I'm going to die on, and I hope that doesn't make anyone mad. Anyways, what are your thoughts on that?
You know what? I agree with you, and you know this is, I mean, this is the way that our government is set up. That's why the president at any given time is the one who picks their cabinet. This is a cabinet position. If he was any president, in my opinion, is going to pick people that they think they're going to be able to have some sort of, I mean, you're the president of the United States. I don't care which president it is. You're not going to have some cabinet member telling you how to do things. These elected presidents, you have to have a certain something, I think, in your brain to even make you want to go there. And then two, I don't think that. I think that you're going to go with your ideas a lot of times. It's going to be, okay, here's my idea. How do we make that work? Right? It's not going to be so, well, I have no clue. What do you think? It's going to be, no, this is the direction we need to go. You tell me how we're going to get there with what you have. And I think that that's kind of the way that this thing is worked out. Obviously, this is a way more dramatic administration than any that we've had. With the course of action and the direction of the federal government as a whole and all of that. I think that what other choice do you have? If you have to have a VA secretary, in my opinion, that is focused on the veterans and those that they serve and really trying to figure that piece out. And then let's make sure the VA is whole and can support that, right? So I do love that aspect of having the veteran first mentality. At least that's the way that it's presented, right? When it comes to the VA secretary at any given time, not going administration first and hey, boss, you're telling me to do this. Okay. As soon as you start to push back, I mean, VA secretaries get changed out. Just saying. I mean, he could be gone tomorrow. So do you want Secretary Collins gone tomorrow, replaced with X, who is administration first, bureaucracy second, VA third, self-preservation fourth, and then veteran? Because that wouldn't be very good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So, I think that it's one of those things where we have to, I don't know. Look, lying is not ever the right road to go down. I think that there has been a lot of times where he, Secretary Collins, could have been a little more transparent, and I think nobody would have been mad about it, going, hey, look, the administration wants to move this way. It is a heavy lift. I don't know if we're going to be able to get there with the 80,000. I am analyzing the numbers. We are going to be reducing. We are going to be doing that. I don't know what the final numbers are. I'm working hard to come up with a number that we think is going to be feasible to still serve you, the veteran, because you come number one. And then I'm going to present that to the president and see if we can work with that number. Right now, the target's 80. I'm working on a real number for us, and I'll get back to you then.
Dude, that should be the answer. Speechwriter. You should be the VA secretary speechwriter.
Right. But it seems so obvious. I mean, why would you not say it's truth? Is that not the truth? I mean, shit, I'm in a tight spot. I got my boss, the president, telling me to do this. I want to serve you guys the best I can. I have no clue. I don't even have a gigantic org chart to work from yet. We're trying to iron out these things, and I'm going to come up with a real number, and I'm going to draw that line in the sand for us, and we'll go from there. I mean, it seems to me that there was multiple opportunities to have that real. Okay, this is what I think that you're talking about a little bit too. When it comes to, it's great you're a pastor. I love that, but don't pastor me.
Yeah.
From this position,
because he's a VA secretary. He's not
right.
A pastor in that position.
Yeah. I need you. In fact, I need you to be the brother to my left, right? I need you to talk to me like, hey, we're in this together. We're going to fix this, and we're working together to do it. I need to hear from you, right? And really come down a little bit and be level with those that you serve, right? We all chewed that's the angle I would take as the VA secretary. I would take the angle of, look, we all chewed the same dirt to some extent or the other. I am now in this position to take care of you because you are my brothers and sisters out there, and we're going to do this. It's a big ship. It's going to take a lot of time to turn, blah, blah, blah. It's whoppers and whatever, right? So all that to say is that lying is not the right way. Trying to circumvent the truth a little bit or using partial truths to try to get the message across. I think there could have been better ways, and I think that really you could have and I'm saying it to him, he's not here. We'd love to have you on the channel. I think that he could have really offloaded a lot of quote unquote blame and irritation and anger to the president, really, and just went, that's that. I'm doing the best I can with what I got, and I'm going to make sure at the end of the day you're safe. So all that to say, Clay, is that, yeah, that sucks. Don't lie and own up to it. Probably not going to happen. There'll be some sort of an excuse, whatever. Frontline workers is a funny thing to really, I think, define. If you ever had any sort of anything done to you, I mean, I'm talking about stitches, okay? Not even a major surgery or anything, right? Just some stitches, in and out, outpatient procedure. You're going to have 4, 5, 6 people in the room with you. You've encountered 1 or 2 on the way in, and you have to encounter 1 on the way out. That's a lot of people for one person going in to get something done. So, there's a lot of people impacted. I'm curious where we're going to fall with all this. Just to loop back, and I'm going to ask you a question, Clay.